Hello everyone. So today we will be doing solid geometry. So the first question is, the sum of the lengths of all the edges of cube is 6 centimeters. What is the volume in cubic centimeters of the cube? So how many lengths there are in a cube? So let's suppose this is our cube. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So there are 12 sides in a cube. So each side, let's suppose, is x. So 12x equals to 6. So the sum of the lengths of all edges of a cube is 6 centimeters. So each length is 6 by 12 or 1 by 2. Now what will be the volume? So we need to find out the volume of the cubic centimeter. So volume equals to 1 upon 2 cube, because the volume formula is x cube. So x is the side, the length of the side. So x cube. So 1 upon 2 cube equals to 1 upon 8. Hence option A is correct. Now what is the volume of a cube whose surface area is 150? So again we have this cube over here. So the surface area is 150. So this area or this side would be x into x, that is x squared, multiply by the height. So multiply by x. So the height is also x. So this is your cube. This is the volume. So volume of the cube is x cube. Now the surface area. So we have this. The shaded region is your surface area at this point. So the surface area of this square would be x squared. Now how many sides we have of this square? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So again, if I draw this, so 1 is this side, 2, 3, 4, and this side 5 and 6. So area of the surface area is 6x squared. Now what is the volume of a cube whose surface area is 150? So 6x squared equals to 150. X squared divided 1x squared equals to 150 divided by 6. So x squared, 3 2s are 3 50s are 2 1s are 2 25s are. So x squared equals to 25. Hence x equals to 5. So x equals to under root 25 equals to 5. Now what will be the cube's volume? So this is what we need to find out. So the volume formula is x cube. So 5 cube equals to, so 5 into 5 into 5. So 5 squares are 25. 25 into 5 is 125. So the volume would be 125. Now, what is the surface area of a cube whose volume is 64? So the volume equals to 64. X cube is the formula for the volume. So x would be equal to 4. So 4 into 4 into 4 equals to 64, or 4 4s are 16. 16 into 4 is 64. Now, the surface area of a cube. So we know the formula for surface area is 6x squared. So 6 into 4 square, 6 into 16 equals to 96. So 16 into 6, 60 plus 36 equals to 96. Hence option C is correct. Now what is the number of cubic inches in 1 cubic foot? So in 1 feet or 1 foot, there are 12 inches. So in a cube, so what is the number of cubic inches? So if we have 1 feet, each length is of 1 feet or 1 foot. So volume would be 1 foot into 1 foot into 1 foot. Now we have 12 inches in a foot. So 12 into 12 into 12. So 12 into 12 is 144 into 12. So 144 into 10 plus 2. So 1440 plus 288. So 8, 12, 7, 1, so 1728. So 1728. So option E is correct. Now a solid metal cube of edge 3 feet is placed in a rectangular tank whose length, width, and height are 3, 4, 5. So this is your um, this is your tank. So again, I'm not perfect in the drawing, but anyhow, so this is your tank. So the volume for the tank would be 3 into 4 into 5, that is 60. Now let's suppose this tank is filled with water. Now if you place a cube having edge of 3 feet, so the volume for the cube would be 3 into 3 into 3, that is 9 3s are 27. Now if you place a cube in this tank, now obviously it will going to displace some water. Now how much water it will going to displace? It will going to displace 27 cubic feet of water. So if the total volume is 60, so how much water would going to remain in this tank? So 60 minus 27 would be 33. So option C is correct. Now a foot long cylindrical pipe has an inner diameter of 6 feet and an outer diameter of 8 feet. So this is 8 feet diameter and the inner circle has a diameter of 6 feet and it's a cylinder. So it's like this. Now, if the total surface area is K pi, what is the value of K? Now, the first surface area would be this side, the upper side. So this area, or we can say this cylinder having a diameter of 8. So what will be the surface area? So this circumference would be 2 pi r, and we need to multiply it by h so that we get our surface area. So 2 pi r h. So 2 into pi r would be, so 8 feet is the diameter, so the radius would be 4, and h, height is your 5. So 5 4s are 20, 22s are 40 pi. So this is for the diameter for outer ring. Now this is your outer ring. So inner ring has the diameter of 6. So the surface area would be again 2 pi r h. So 2 into pi r would be 3 and h is 5. So 5 3s are 15, 15 2s are 30 pi. Now there's another area we need to calculate. So this is the area. So if you have a circle over here, now this has a diameter of 6 and this has a diameter of 8. So we want to find out this area. So the total area would be pi r square. Now over here r is your 4 because the diameter of the outer ring is 8 feet. So it would be 4 pi square minus the area of the inner circle. So this would be pi r square. This is for your inner radius. So minus pi 3 square. So 16 pi minus 9 pi equals to 7 pi. But be careful that we have two sides to it. So 7 pi for this side and 7 pi for this side. So total surface area, the bottom would be 14 pi. So 40 plus 30 is 70. 17 plus 14 is 84 pi. So K would be 84. So the correct option is E. Question 7. The height h of a cylinder is equal to the edge of cube. If the cylinder and a cube have the same volume, what is the radius of the cylinder? So the volume for the cube would be the height of a cylinder is equal to the edge of the cube. So this side of the cube is h, so it would be h cube. And the volume for the cylinder, the formula is pi r square h. So the height is given. And we know that both of these volumes are equal. So what is the radius? So h cube equals to pi r square h. H equals to h cube divided by pi over h. Sorry, r squared, we need to find out the radius. So r squared equals to h cube divided by pi h. So r squared equals to h squared upon pi. Or we can say r equals to under root h squared divided by under root pi. Hence, we can write h over under root pi. That is option A. Now a rectangular tank has a base that is 10 centimeter by 5 centimeter and a height of 20 centimeter. And let's suppose this is your tank again. Now the total volume of the tank would be 10 into 5 into 20. Now if the tank is half full, so the tank is half full with water. So it is half full with water. By how many centimeters will the water level rise? So if you put in more water, 325 cubic centimeter of water, how much will the height go up? So right now, the base, so the rectangular tank has a base that is 10 by 5. So the base, the area for the base would be 50. Now how much the height should go up if the volume that is added equals to 325? So H equals to 325 divided by 50 would be 6.5. That is option B. So 5 6 are 30. 25 divided by 50 is 0.5. So the correct option is B. Now, if the height of a cylinder is 4 times its circumference, what is the volume of the cylinder in terms of its circumference? So we know that circumference equals to 2 pi r, and we can write r as c over 2 pi. Now, what is the volume of the cylinder? So volume of the cylinder is pi r square h. Now we know that the height of a cylinder is 4 times the circumference. So pi, we know r is c over 2 pi square, and h equals to 4c. So pi c square whole over 4 pi square into 4c. 4 and 4 cancel, and 1 pi and the other one, the denominator and the pi cancels out, and we get c cube divided by pi. Hence option A is correct. Question 10. 3 identical balls fit snugly into a cylinder can. The radius of the sphere equals the radius of the can, and the balls just touch the bottom and the top of the can. If the formula for the volume of a sphere is 4 upon 3 pi r cube, you need to memorize this. What fraction of the volume of the can is taken up by the balls? So these are the balls. So each ball has a radius of r, let's suppose. So this is your r, this is your r. So the total distance or the diameter would be 2r. This would be 2r as well. And this would be 2r as well. So we know that the height of this cylinder would be 6r. So the volume of the cylinder would be pi r square h, or we can write pi r square and h equals to 6r. So 6 pi r cube. And we also know that each sphere, so volume of a sphere equals to 4 upon 3 pi r cube. And how many spheres there are? 1, 2, and 3. So 3 into 4 upon 3 pi r cube, 3 and 3 cancel, and the volume of total 3 sphere equals to 4 pi r cube. So 4 pi r cube divided by 6 pi r cube, pi r cube and pi r cube cancels out, and we have 4 over 6, or we can write 2 by 3. So 2 by 3 is the correct answer. Now, Jack and Jill each roll a sheet of 9 by 12 paper from a cylinder. So we have Jack over here and Jill over here. So this is 12 and this is 9. So Jack tapes the 2-inch edge together. So Jack tries to clip these two ends together, and we will going to have a cylinder having a height of 9, and the circumference of this circle would be 12. So if we try to clip these two edges together, so the height would be 9, but the circumference would be 12. So the volume of this, so first of all, we need to find out the radius. So we know that 2 pi r, that is your circumference, equals to 12, or r equals to 12 divided by 2 pi, or we can write 6 over pi. And the volume would be pi r square h, or we can write pi r square h. Volume would be pi. R is 6 upon pi into 6 upon pi, and h would be your 9. Now Jill, on the other hand, so 12 by 9. So Jill tapes the 2-inch edge together. So Jill is trying to clip these 2 points together. So the cylinder that will be formed would be having a diameter or circumference would be 9 and the height would be 12. So what will be the radius? So 2 pi r, the circumference equals to 9. So r equals to 9 upon 2 pi, or r equals to 4.5 over pi. The volume would be equal to pi r square h, or pi r square would be 4.5 over pi into 4.5 over pi, and height is your 12. So which is greater? So 6 into 6 into 9. So 6 into 6 into 9 is 324. So 6 6 are 36. So 36 into 9 would be 6 9s are 54. 5 carries over. 9 3s are 27. 27 plus 5 would be 32. And 4.5 into 4.5 into 12. Now 4.5 into 12 would be less than 324, or we can say 9 by 2. So we can say 9 by 2. So 4.5 is 9 by 2 into 9 by 2 into 12. So 9 9s are 81. So 2 6s are, 2 3s are. So 81 into 3, 3 1s are 3, 8 3s are 24. It's 243. It would be 243 over pi. So this would be 324 over pi. This would be 243 over pi. We know that 324 over pi would be greater. Hence, option Jack cylinder, the volume for Jack cylinder would be greater than the volume of Jill's cylinder. So option A is correct. Now, a classical mistake that a student can make would be that if the roll of sheet is 9 by 12, it's for both Jack and Jill. So a student might think that the volume would be the same, but no, it's actually different. Now the volume of cube whose edge are 6 and the volume of a box whose dimension are 5, 6 into 7. So it's 6 cube, that is 6 cube would be 216. So 36 into 6, 6 6 are 36, 6 3s are 18, 18 plus 3 is 21. And the volume of a box whose dimensions are 5, 6 and 7. So the volume would be 5 into 6, 30, 30 into 7 is 210. 216 is greater than 210, hence option A is correct. A surface area of a rectangle box in square units, and the volume is A is the surface area of a rectangle box in a square unit, and V is the volume of the same box in cubic units. So what will be the surface area? And let's suppose a rectangle, let's suppose we have a cube. So the surface area would be 6x squared and the volume would be cube. Now obviously there is no relationship between the surface area and the cube. Now the point you need to understand is that we can't tell which quantity would be greater. Now if let's suppose x equals to 1, now this would be 6 and this would be 1, then obviously quantity A would be greater than quantity B. Now let's suppose it's 4. X equals to 4. So 4 4s are 16. 16 into 4 is 64. And 16 into 6 is 96. Again, quantity A is greater than quantity B. But let's suppose we have 10. So this would be 10 cube would be 1000. And 10 square into 6 would be 600. Now quantity B is greater than quantity A. So we cannot tell which quantity is more, or quantity A is more, quantity B is more, or if they are equal. So we can't tell, we can't determine. So option D is correct. Now we have a figure over here. It's a 3-dimensional figure. So P is the point on edge GH. It's in the midpoint of cube ABCDEFG. H, each edge is of the cube is 1. So we have a 3-dimensional figure. So we have a sort of a triangle. Now this length is 1. Now this is actually a diagonal. So this is going down. So it's a diagonal. So what will be the length of this diagonal? So this length is 1. This length is 1. So Pythagoras theorem says that this length would be 1 square plus 1 square under root. So this length would be under root 2. So we know that the height of this triangle now is under root 2 and the base is 1. So the area would be half into base, that is 1, into height, that is under root 2. So under root 2 over 2. Now under root 2 over 2 is definitely less than 1 because under root 2 is a number that is 1.4 something, and 1.4 divided by 2 is 0.7. So quantity B is definitely more than quantity A. So under root 2 is definitely a number that is less than 2. Something that is less than 2 divided by 2 is obviously less than 1. So quantity B is greater than quantity A. Hence option B is correct. Now the volume of a sphere whose radius is 1. So the volume would be x cube, and the volume of a cube, so the volume of a sphere whose radius is 1. So the volume of a sphere is 4 upon 3 pi r cube, and the volume of a cube whose edge is 1. So this would be the volume is x cube. So the edge is 1. So the volume would be 1. Over here, the radius is 1. So 4 upon 3 pi into 1. Now 4 upon 3 is a number that is greater than 1. And obviously pi is also a number that is greater than 1, or it is 3.142. So a number that is greater than 1 multiplied by 3.142 is definitely more than 1. So approximately it's 4. So 4 divided by 3 is 1.33 into 3.142. It's approximately 4.189. So 4.189 is definitely more than 1. Hence option A is greater than our, so quantity A is greater than quantity B. So option A is correct. So in the end, I would suggest you do a lot of practice so that you can get a perfect score.